Hello. Welcome, everybody. How are we all doing today on this rather slow Tuesday morning, evening, afternoon, depending on where you are? I hope you're all doing very well. Yeah, let's see who we've got in the chat. I just thought I'd come onto a live stream. Market's not doing very much. I had a couple of little scalps during the initial balance. Nothing too crazy. Basically, before it broke out from these highs, we just had a nice little range, but it was like really nothing particularly going on. I didn't really get like decent TPs off of the NQ because we had this range from the open here, where we essentially just had our initial balance that formed, was able to take a couple of short positions, but they were just small trades, so I wasn't really getting much from it. So decided just to let the market go after like we started to break up here, and then thought, you know what, I'm just going to jump onto a little stream, cover what's going on in the market, and just see if we do get anything more interesting throughout the rest of this session. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And I kind of want to just do today as like some general discussion as well. So if anyone has any, I mean, the market hasn't been doing an awful lot since we had this like pump on Friday, which was really good fun. We did manage to catch that, and we were following it live when it happened, but not a whole lot going on today. My positioning hasn't really changed very much. I didn't really. I consider it like it was a winning day, but I consider it a relatively flat day on the ES. Not really getting anything out of it. So some general discussion, market discussion, some charting, whatever you guys want, I can do for you today, as long as it is not anything too weird, basically. So yeah, who do we have in the chat today? Hemen, Luke did a good session on NQ and felt a good stream. Yeah, well, I've just explained that. I had a pretty boring session on the NQ and felt like streaming afterwards. Harry Beaver, I want the old energetic Taurus vibes back, Taurus team and vibes back. Yeah, I mean, look, I want that back as well. Like, I try and come at this with energy all the time, and yeah, I want the energetic vibes also, but it's quiet, or it has been quiet for me. I've got other things going on, and we will see what happens in the future, what happens over the next few months or so. But hey, at least I'm back here streaming a little bit more often now. This is the third stream in 4 weekdays. So I did Thursday, Friday, today. So hopefully we can keep this up for a little while. Although from next week I'm going to be busy traveling again. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I want the energy as well. Hey, if anyone wants to come on here and join in on streams, wants to just chat about stuff, or wants to do any content, or wants to be more involved, or wants to work on anything like that, I am very open to it. So please do get in touch if you are interested. Whether you want to join in on a live stream, do any content, do whatever you want to do, have any projects that you're working on, this kind of thing, I am all ears. As you know, I've got a few projects that I've been working on as well. One of them is launching pretty soon. I can't really say anything about that. It isn't like it's it's still crypto based, but it's actually like an actual project. So you'll hear more about that soon. We've got some cool people on board with that. And yeah, potentially some things in the pipeline for Taurus as well that will bring some new life into the community. whether that is as Taurus or whether it's something a little bit different again. So yeah, I've got some things on the go, and then some in real life projects that I'm working on. So things are just mad busy at the moment. And as much as I would love to be here all the time for you guys, it's kind of tough. And I feel that when I went traveling, this was like what I said even before I went traveling. Like I knew I'd lose the momentum that we had with the streaming and with like the and everything like that. But I didn't quite think we'd lose the momentum as crazy fast as we did. But anyway, all is good. All is good. I'm still here. I'm still active. I'm not going anywhere. So, and thank you everyone who is here and joining in on these streams, because it means a lot. I definitely wouldn't be doing this if I had no one turning up every time. So the fact that you guys are showing up and the fact that you guys are still here makes it worthwhile for me. And as long as I'm still enjoying doing it, then I will keep doing it. Lolita, welcome. Shorty, welcome. Davil, welcome. SK, Blue Raincoat, welcome. Blue Raincoat is the Taurus shitcoin on Pump Fun, isn't it? It's not. It's definitely not that. Although I might do some streams on Pump Fun. I like last weekend, I was just bored and I was like, I forgot that you could stream on Pump.fun. And in order to stream, you have to make a token. So I made a token, and it's like nobody's bought it, not even me. So it has a market cap of 0. But I might start streaming on there soon. I might buy a little bit of my own token, and we might just have some fun with that. I don't know. It's really nothing, but I think it could unlock a new audience. It could be just a different type of stream, which could be kind of cool. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Lucifer, is it the relaunch 2.0 of that crypto gaming project from 2 years ago? Are they a foundation yet? I have no idea what you mean by that, but yeah, everything that's useless, it becomes a foundation, right? I always talk about this, but I don't know what crypto gaming project this might be. If I think it like, was it that Illuvium thing? I thought that would be really cool. I thought that would be like the big crypto game, but nothing ever happened with that. But yeah. April's, he's still alive. I am still alive. Of course I'm still alive. I'm still doing well. But anyway, let's talk about the market just for a moment. Still not doing anything today, so let me just set some alerts, okay? If we do come down and sweep this, then cool. There's not really anything above that I'm too interested in. Yesterday's initial balance high is up here. We have taken out the initial balance high. It would give us a slight bullish bias for the rest of this session. I think my bias for today was slightly bullish anyway, but we are already going up, so nothing too crazy there. We did take out the London lows. I didn't catch that trade, annoyingly. I was just taking the ones from these highs, from the like daily highs, the Asia London highs. But yeah, cool. Bitcoin. Let's start off with Bitcoin. So it's dropped into my point of interest. So this is what I was really wanting to see last Friday, and why I was saying like is there an echo? No. I'm hearing things. Yeah, I was waiting for this last week. We didn't get it. It had that pump. I did have long exposure on this because I've been longing from the bottom of the range and like it basically being like, okay, we probably will bounce at some point here, but I wanted to get that drop first. I think now is a rather decent time to be looking at longs. The problem is invalidation. So I'm very happy to buy it. I do have bids in this area. I have been filled on a few more bids in this area. And currently my average is just above price because I had some from range lows already. So I've averaged down into it. The issue is that like you can take this one in 2 goes, okay? yes, we've cleaned up this imbalance, but we've got like anchored VWAP below us. We're not quite down into that golden pocket. We do have some not quite tasty looking liquidity below as well. And then we've got another daily gap down here. So really this could drop as low as like 104K and still be essentially like a deviation from this range, kind of what we were looking at back here. We may see a situation whereby this, if you'll remember, was the start of the, when we had that announcement of the strategic reserve. And it's been really, really similar price action, okay? Price came down, right? We had this range that had formed. We swept the highs. We dropped, okay? Price did take out the lows. We then got that pump on the announcement of the strategic reserve before taking the lows out again, a very low volume rise, and then finally getting a final drop before rounding back to the highs again. So are we looking at something similar here whereby we could expect a bit of a rally now that takes us back up to fill some of the gaps that we've got above? Like we have a CME gap here from the weekend. We have that previous week high that we can still be targeting. But are we still going to see this typical September thing? That's why they call September the ghost month. Even though October is when Halloween is. But September basically being the month when nothing really happens, and that's historically accurate for crypto. It's historically accurate for equities. Not a lot happens, and it tends to be a rather boring month. So are we just going to get this slow rise down? Then finally, as we come into those rate cuts next month, we can be looking at the rally then. So this is the kind of thing I'm expecting at the moment. I don't think we're going to get a big pump. I think because we had the volatility at the end of last week, that now pricing in of a rate cut has now happened. We found where like the high is from that pricing in, and we're finding where that low is. So are we just going to fill this out? We've got low volume within this area. We're going to start to fill this out. And then as we come into next month, if we do get CPI, PPI, FOMC that reflect what was mentioned last week during the Jackson Hole thingamajiggy, are we going to get that final push down, take out the lows, and then look for those new highs again? That's the kind of thing that I'm looking at the moment. And if we are to do that, then I think Ethereum is one of those that could end up, although we're seeing a decent rally now, okay, what I'm looking at for Ethereum right now is putting in some kind of local high that could see a deeper pullback. Okay, so if this is to be a slow month, because Ethereum's taking these all-time highs, yes, we're maintaining bullish market structure. Yes, we're holding this anchored VWAP from the low. Yes, we've come into that 618702. Yes, we're bouncing off of the POC of this whole range here. But I kind of feel like maybe we start a distribution here. We can look to take out those previous week lows, which will be maybe later on, and maybe even still come down to test that yearly open finally, which was what I was hoping to see before we got this big move up to these all-time highs. So yeah, we're looking at a nice rally now, but I think looking at short positions still over the next few weeks does kind of make sense, just because the momentum, this could take us to new highs again. And I am looking at maybe like 5,300 as being a final target. But even if we do push up to that point and we do rally, I think that the momentum, any bullish momentum could be lost. And that's the time where we can find this bigger correction. So let's see how it goes. It's a nice bounce that we're getting from Ethereum and altcoins, kind of altcoins at the moment. And just let's wait and see. So most of my exposure is long. I have an ETH short from all-time highs. I haven't had the opportunity to hedge short Bitcoin since then. I have this long. I don't really like having the longs on Bitcoin anymore. I'd rather be shorts. So if we do rally back up towards these highs again on Bitcoin, I will short again. But that's kind of it. Anything else that's happened today? People often ask about CRO on the stream. So CRO having a big pump today. That is because they have announced that they have partnered with Trump Media World, whatever, Truth, whatever it's called, thingy, that they're doing something with them. So CROcrypto.com is working with Trump the Trump team. I can't remember exactly what the wording was, but that's why that's pumping today. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. Is that going to have a mad rally because they're involved in everything that's going on with like crypto in America right now? Could be interesting. But other than that, let's look at the market in general. Is there anything else that's like really having any decent moves so far today? It is just CRO's the big one, right? And that's news based. Hype is looking good still. All right, hype. That's where's my like actual hype trade? Because the one that was my actual trade was to $50, and we hit $50. Anyway, it's there. Yeah, hype's looking good. I still have a little bit of hype tokens. I still have a little bit of a long on this, but again, the momentum there is this looking local toppy, and then we can start to get a bit of a retrace. That would be nice. Where, like, what's my actual hype? Is it hype USDT? Ah, this is the one. This is the one that I drew last week. Yeah. So this is the trade I'm in, and this is what I am hoping to see is basically a sweep of these lows back down below $30 at some stage to allow me to go back in with size again. That's like what I'm looking for on hype, although still remains the same. We have this double top up here. I think we could come and take these one more time and then maybe be looking at a bigger correction after that. And it would be quite easy just to like know when this is starting to top out, just based on if we do get like a bit of a rolling over from these highs here, and then you can look for those short positions back down again. So yeah, that's that one. Let me have a sip of my tea. But other than that, look at this. NQ is still just doing absolutely nothing. ES as well, really nothing going on so far. So yeah, any questions on the market in general? Anything you want me to look at? Anything you just want to ask me about trading, about crypto, about life, about football? That's the other thing that's cool. Has anyone been involved in that like football.fun thing? I played around with it. I don't think it's going to do much. I can't see how the mechanics are going to make it last, but it's kind of fun anyway. The problem I have with something like football.fun is it's tokens, right, for players, and the players exist already. It's not like you're going to get shiny new things that come along unless you have new players. But anyway, probably no one knows what I'm talking about here, so I'm going to avoid talking about it. Can we look at Fluid USDT? Yeah, sure. Fluid. Ooh. So the question was, where would you like to bid if you like the fundamentals? And my answer is, you just had a really nice opportunity for that. Yeah? Let's see what is this token. Let me have a look. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Fluid. Is stream laggy or is it okay? Fluid. Instadap Inst token has rebranded to Fluid. Fluid Dex is live. Financial system of the future. Borrow, lend, borrow, swap. Fluid Dex. That just takes you to an X account. I don't know. Okay. Meh. For the chart looks kind of nice here. Like, I'm hearing something in the background. There must be another tab that's making noise. And not just the music. There must... I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, anyway. The chart looks good. All right, it's going to be around about that 618 that you've dropped into. You have taken out lows. So you have this nice range. You never swept the highs. You have taken out the lows. You could be now aiming for those highs. You've corrected the entirety of this final impulse up, which is what took the highs. So you had this you had this bottom that formed. Okay, so this is the range we had previously, where you have this range. Okay, you drop below it, it becomes resistance. You get back inside the range, start to hold it. And then this is that price discovery afterwards. And now what is it doing? It's coming back into that area. It's correcting all the imbalance here. You have a little bit of a gap down here, right? So you have this nice OB. You have the imbalance just above it. And you've got golden pocket as support there. If we're looking at anchored VWAP from these all-time lows, I would imagine that's down here somewhere. But maybe the anchored VWAP from when it started to impulse up is up where price is. So, oh no, we're right there. We're right there, and then if you do take it from this impulse, then you're right there as well. And I would imagine the point of control, since we've had this impulse higher, is going to be here. So we're probably bouncing off of that as well. We are. So yeah, this, if you like this token, it's probably gone up a little bit too high right now. You may be a few hours too late to this, but if it does, what's going on the lower time frames? The lower time frames is pretty clean. So you have this nice clean downtrend. You break out from it, another opportunity to buy. At this stage, you would be looking for some kind of retrace. And I would say bidding around here, okay, would be quite a good point to look for it. So $6 to buy. Invalidation, essentially, if you could take it from these lows. So you could go for quite a tight stop, because it's not the most liquid, probably not the most liquid token in the world. I'd maybe give it a bit more room. All right. And then you're aiming for these highs and price discovery again after that. $10 would be a nice, if you're in that 618 to 702, then aiming for $10 from a swing trade for this, if it can continue to be bullish, isn't the worst thing in the world. So even if you're entering here, you'd really want to get in so you can get like that 5R or something off of this. You could really milk it and go in with larger size, double that size if you're willing to put a tight stop. But see how the market goes. If you can get like a trade that looks a little bit like that, then that would be really quite cool. But you'd have to be taking profit along the way, okay? You'd have to get some TPs around here anyway, and just see what happens if it does start to break above these highs. So yeah, I know. That's what it is. I have the sound on my iPad, and I can just hear myself sometimes. Okay. So that's this fluid thing. It's quite a decent looking chart. It is quite a decent looking chart, that. Fluid. Where can you trade this? Bybit. What perpetuals? Spot only, yeah? It's a shame. BMNR, please. And ARB, big support. ARB. Let me go through some of these. Yeah, so ARB, big support, reclaim, BMNR, MicroStrategy, and Resolve. Let me just cover Resolve, because Resolve is one of the ones on Hyperliquid, yeah? And yeah, I was thinking it was looking good back here, and we were talking about the fact that if it can break through that POC, then that would be really good, I believe. So we'd had this move up. We were just like below that point of control. I did buy some of this. I can't remember if it was, where did I buy this? I'll have to check later. Yeah, I did buy a little bit. So I'm underwater a bit on this, but I think the chart just, it's not, I don't know. It's all the way back down towards these lows now, but a really nice recovery so far today. So wait and see. The fact that it's come down and taken out these lows again is decent. Okay, you had this big pump up. You were holding this for ages. Now you've come down and taken that out. You're all the way back down to this like first wave support before you got this rally. So looks like a decent accumulation. If you want to play it safe, then you just wait for this to break. And you wait for drawing tool. You wait for a bit of a move up here and then this kind of thing, right? See if you can get something like that. But Resolve, I mean, it's a token that hasn't had a cycle yet. So if we're going to continue with this bull market, then you would think that at some stage it would do that. And it hasn't had like a big, like massive dump. It hasn't been permanently down like a lot of tokens that we see when they launch. So the fact that we've got like down for a little bit and then recovery and sideways is kind of nice here. But yeah, not too much more to say on that. ARB, USDT. Yeah, I see what you mean on Arbitrum. So just really simple support and resistance. Look at where we had the support and look at where that resistance was. Okay, so you can draw this across. Resistance, flip. And if you do get this kind of structure whereby you have this like break, this double bottom type of thing, and then you break back up, that's not very well drawn. But this, a lot of, sneeze. Woo! A lot of alts are doing this, where you have this almost double bottom. You then change market structure, you then hold support, and you look to rally back up towards highs again. So there is a bunch of things that are looking similar to this right now. There's something else I saw earlier that was similar. What was it? It was, I think it was ADA. It was something else that began with A. Maybe not ADA. Maybe ADA. Because were we looking at the yearly? that break, I think I maybe was looking at the yearly and the break of the yearly, so it struggled to get back above it. You're holding that VWAP and it's back here again now. Yeah, maybe that was the one. Maybe I can't remember. BMNR, Bitmine Immersion Technologies. Nothing really to say on this. So obviously some mining. MicroStrategy. I know a lot of people are really interested in MicroStrategy, but I'm not one of them. I don't see the point in crypto exposure via stocks. If you want crypto exposure, just do crypto. But I mean, I see it. It looks a lot like a lot of altcoins, where you've had a rally, you've taken out these lows. Okay, it looks a lot like it's the same as Bitcoin, at least locally, right? Where it's down at these lows, correcting some stuff. If it can get back in this range, then you're looking at highs again. It just looks like a lot of crypto charts, but I just personally not that interested in crypto stocks. They don't make sense to me. Did I miss anything else from that list? WAL USDT, Deep USDT, Morpho USDT. Let's just look at WAL. Not so keen on that, just because of where these lows are, and I think that resolve is hard, right? Because yeah, they look really similar. I think the recent strength we've seen from resolve and the pullback here is better. This doesn't look. I don't like. It's really hard to explain, but it's just that it just screams like no volume. So, yeah, I don't know. Not as keen. Deep USDT. Again, a little bit better. Here. I don't think I'm going to chart things that are as niche as this. I'll just quickly skip through them, and then if you guys should be able to see a lot of the same thing that I'm seeing. Morpho, and this is just already up too high. So yeah, you can see what I'm seeing. You guys, a lot of you have been following this channel for long enough to know that if you just look at a naked chart, you can get a feel for it. So they're there. I've shown them. But out of those ones you mentioned, I think Resolve is looking the nicer one, just from a very quick look at it. Oh my god, this is still just not even moving. Let me top up my tea briefly. Is anybody watching on X as well? Few people watching over there. So what else is going on in the world? Anything people want to discuss? The only reason I'm plugged into what's going on in the world is because it affects trading, but I haven't been in Europe, or I haven't been in the western side of the world for a year now. So I don't really know what's going on over there. How are things? How are things in Europe? How are things in the US? Everything good? Everyone happy? Probably not. What's the DXY doing? Not much. BTC dominance. Dropping back down again today. Chat's gone awfully quiet suddenly. UK to mark you on the list if you book 3 flights a year and check your background if your career matches your lifestyle. Well, I'm fucked. I must be at least 10x that amount so far. I've definitely taken about 30 flights this year. UK flight list. Let me look this up. News. Is that real? Link me to it. Is this a real thing? Or are you just making it up? Or do we have some kind of Fed in the chat who just wanted me to admit that I'm taking lots of flights and wants to know where I am or where my next flight is so they can catch me? Your carbon credits will be exhausted. They will indeed. But I'll pay for that in the afterlife. Let me just look at some other things. Let me do the kind of thing I would just do if I was here on my own. Not even seeing any interesting tokens that are down that would be on a trade watch list for me. This is something. Just a good old classic falling wedge into support. Weekly gap. Dog. The rune, dog. But yeah, you just have this like messy. And even from here, draw it however you like. This is one of those memes that I think just has real good staying power as well. So if 2.5 to 2, not like 0.0025 to 0.002 on dog, take it all the way back up to the 1 again. You got a quite easy 5x. Potential 5x on some, right now 4x. But you've got a pretty straightforward 5x spot play on this dog token. Because this is one of those that just, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's got such a strong community, and I really like this token. I think at some stage one of these runes is gonna take off and do very well. Don't confuse this with dogs either. This one's just a total scam. This dogs token, like, don't confuse it with dogs. That's dead. But dog is good. Dog is very good. Let me post this, because that's just a very, very clean setup with very obvious levels. And you can just add to it. You're at the magical 702. The magic 702 level. A little deeper than a 618, not quite the 786. Magic. This could also be the POC just below. It's not bad. We draw a magical line. Be like, like this. Yeah? That's what we want. Magic line. Woo-woo. I'll draw that cleaner. I need to come back to that chart and chart it up properly. ETC. Map out the obvious weekly level and macro 618. What do you see? What do I see on ETC? ETH Classic. Not something I would really want to trade. Ooh. Ooh, internet. Ooh, no. There we go. Yeah, okay. Macro 618. Oh, you mean above? Because that weekly level will be on the 618. Yeah. Okay, right. ETH Classic to $120 from $20. I mean, look, if ETH starts running, then it is inevitable, isn't it? I think. Volume's picked up. Volume's picked up a lot recently. You know what? I don't mind this at all. This is the kind of thing that will run it if Ethereum continues to do well. This will just pop at some point. I don't know if right now is a good good opportunity. If you can come back down below those lows, set an alert down there. And you are essentially getting from 12 to 120. Yeah, cool. It is most certainly, I mean, it's, on the face of it, it's very dead, but yeah, you can't write something like that off. It's like Bitcoin Classic. What is Bitcoin Classic? BCC. I can't remember the ticker. BCH. No, it used to be BCH. Bitcoin Cash. Yeah. Let's keep that chart open as well. And then let's duplicate this because I'm just going to keep charts that look decent open so I can post these on Twitter. OL USDT. Whoa. You'd have to like this fundamentally. You'd have to be happy with holding this forever, maybe, or just accept that it may never happen. It might never happen for it. But it's one of those again that the potential reward greatly outweighs the risk. Yeah. So you can go in with relatively low size. You might lose all of it. You can easily go down another 90% from here, even though it's already down 90% or however much it is, more than 90%. But the reward is that if you went in with $100, you could extract 1,200 just by getting that. It's there, and you maximum you can lose is 100. So, yeah, it's one of those that's just down just a shitload. Let's go for another one. Let's see what else we can find. There's so many charts that look like that, and it's just going to be it's a bit of a gamble because the market is so saturated. Pepe. Pepe internal lows gone. Bit of a downtrend here. Let's just go for the Pepe chart that I normally use, which will be, load them all up. Come on, slow. Yeah, I mean, Pepe, I think would, yeah. There's so much, and like it's just about picking the ones that have the best chance of a really good rally here. It's kind of boring because I'm looking at so many charts that look very similar, but it's that same thing, okay? You have an accumulation, you break up out of it, you hold it as support, you're right back down at that support again. So if you're buying it below like 0.01 per 1,000 Pepe, and you're looking to trade it back up somewhere towards these highs, really nice. I still think that we do likely see a quite slow month in September, but if we're looking at just a last accumulation before things go kind of crazy again, as long as you like, this is it. You just don't risk too much here. But there's a really good value in the market, really good value in the market, much more so than like, yeah, okay, you can look at Ethereum and you can look at Bitcoin, but the value, like, we know Pepe, what it's done in the past. We know it's something like this isn't just going to die. Very similar with Doge. Like, I feel very comfortable accumulating a position and just being careful with risk here and just seeing how it goes for a while. Is like, unless you need the money, like, just build a position on dips like this, on these tokens that are just decent. I know it's a meme and I don't like, there's a lot of memes that I don't like. There's a lot that I just wouldn't touch. But something like Pepe, it's not going anywhere. It's the biggest meme out there. Like, as an actual meme, yeah, by market cap, it's nowhere near the likes of like Dogecoin, but it could get there. It really could get there. So, yeah, just a chart like this, it's just, you don't have to overthink it. It's just nice looking, healthy chart that is going through a new accumulation, in my opinion. And the only thing that would change that is if we enter into a bear market. And I still don't think we're going to do that. There is, we could be looking at a scenario that's similar to the previous cycle. I'm not saying we're going to get a massive drop, but we could. I do not think it's out of the realms of possibility that we drop back down here again and then go for other highs later in the year. In which case you have to, this is why you have to be really solid on risk. But alts like this, when you can just give them so much room, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And you don't need to use the same leverage on these kind of things as you do on the likes of Bitcoin or Ethereum. So there's such low risk in comparison. But the only thing that you've got to do is be a lot more patient, because you've got to take them as swings, and you've just got to be patient and cut anything that's just complete trash. If something's not working out, just cut it. But for something like Pepe, if you're holding this support, like if you're holding this around here and you just, this area of support here, by all means, just like, it's fine. Even down to this POC, it's not that far away. It's 20% down. Like, you could come down and take those lows, and it's 20% down when you stand to make multiple X on this. It's not a big deal. Really isn't a big deal if it drops for like lower. So yeah, that's a chart that I really like also. There's a lot of charts I really like the look of, just for pretty low risk, high reward setups. Do you think it will sweep the 0.7? This one? .007. Yeah, it could do. That's the thing I was saying. Yeah, if you go into that POC. There's also this new crypto exchange called Bullish that launched on the New York Stock Exchange to trade. Pretty high volume, good for traders. That's been around a while. Bullish has been around a long time, and it's yeah, I've never used it to trade, but they've sponsored the crypto events for ages, and for a long time it's just been pretty dormant. They've just been building it. Like they've got really good. Yeah, I don't know much about it. But yeah, they've been around for a while. I remember seeing it when I was in the Bitcoin conference a couple of years ago in America, and you couldn't use it in the US back then. And I was talking about it there. It's a US company that you couldn't trade in the US, but I know they want to compete with the likes of Robinhood. They didn't have leverage at the time. I would imagine now that regulations are much more relaxed under Trump, they've probably got perps swaps on there now, because they're more of a Wall Street type of thing. Then you're maybe going to get tokenized swaps on that platform. I'd have to look more into it, but yeah, I've known about them for a while. I know about Bullish, but I don't know what it is like so much. I don't really know what they're doing. Condi, what do you think about the good old 4-year cycle? It's about time traditionally now next month for a cycle top. All I hear on X, etc., is people talking about the 4-year cycle is dead, etc. Thoughts? There is nothing so far to suggest that the 4-year cycle is dead. And every time we talk about this, I just refer to this chart. Right, which has been my plan since the 1st of, this has been my plan since the 1st of January 2024. Okay? So October 2025, top of around like $2.2 trillion for altcoins, excluding Bitcoin market cap. That is what I have been looking for. And there's no reason why we can't still. I think maybe we're going to have to extend beyond that a little bit more. But this was just based off of fib time. This was based off of previous cycles. And there's nothing to suggest that we're not going to get something similar playing out. So far, the 4-year cycle isn't dead. When you look at market cap, we are where we would want to be, like total market cap and all of this kind of thing, as we're a few months away from a cycle top, with total market cap breaking out above highs. And then this is what it did in the last cycle, okay? You broke the all-time highs in November, the market topped in December. Okay, it can happen very, very quickly. Back in the cycle before that, right? This was the Ethereum cycle, so it was clearly a lot more crazy. But February, you broke the highs, and back here, February 2021 breaking the highs. By May, you topped. Go back to, okay, yeah, you get the idea, right? So I don't really think there's any reason to suggest that it's not going to play out. I think with the way things are looking now, like if we're going to get a bit more of a correction, we may see that it's a bit slower. We may even drop down here and then start a rally up to here. But that's been the idea for me, and that would line up with the typical 4-year cycle of looking for a distribution within this area. It doesn't mean that we can't continue up with these highs for a while, and then maybe it starts to pull back early in 2026 and does this kind of thing. But October 2025 is the timing that I would say, look, start looking to get out. Yeah, so start looking to get out of the market. When we enter into Q4 of this year, that's when you want to start exiting, start looking for these bigger short positions, because if we are going to continue with that 4-year cycle thing, that's going to be the time when we start to distribute. And we're already seeing signs of distribution. Like we clearly are. There's a lot of profit taking going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I think we do still need a final little melt up that lasts for a few months. Before we really drop and go into another bear market. And I'm quite looking forward to the bear market at this stage. Like this cycle, the reason why this cycle hasn't felt like others and why people are saying that the 4-year cycle is dead is because we haven't had an alt season. But when you actually look at the market in general, we have. The difference is you have all of these sectors, like all this shit, like real world assets, like AI, privacy tokens, ERC, Solana tokens, all these layer 2s, all these meme coins that are coming out. And they are all together contributing to the market cap in the same way that a tiny fraction of tokens were contributing to the market cap previously. So the reason people are saying that it's dead is because the money is so spread out this time that none of this stuff's able to do anything, right? We're not seeing like a case where everything pumps together, and we're never going to get that again. That will never happen again. So I don't think... yes, I think the crypto or the altcoin, like alt season, to expect alt season, we didn't really have that much of an alt season in the 2021 cycle. It's just for us guys that have been around since 2017, and then everything that came out just went fucking mental. Like, that's the kind of thing that people are expecting. That's never going to happen again because you've got way too many tokens. You've got like 300,000 tokens being created every single day. And the money that's here is being spread out across all of that. And it's like meme coins, okay? You can't just buy and hold anymore. You cannot buy and hold anymore because attention is like just... it's so crazy how fast attention moves on. Where I remember like back in 2017, like I sound like an old man, but you'd be talking about the same altcoin for a good few months, and it would have a cycle that would last a good few months. And that's when you build like, it's pretty stupid, but that's when they build community. Yeah, because you have interest in a token for a long time. Even if it does end up rugging to zero eventually, you have those tokens that stay for a long time and people talk about them for a long time. You had stuff like Stratus, and you had stuff like Verge, XVG. You had stuff like so many tokens from back then, like that just, even though they're not doing anything now, Vertcoin, Amise Go, ADA came out around then, Cardano, all of these ones, Power Ledger, like, yeah, really, really old tokens that now are dead, but there wasn't that much competition. Neo, the Chinese Ethereum, not Neon, but Neo, yeah. Neo, and then the gas, the Neo gas token as well. That was another one. Quantum or something like that, wasn't it? Or QNT. No, QNT was a different one. Qtum, which was the Thai Ethereum or something like that, or the Taiwanese. It's something crazy. So there were so many, but they had attention because there wasn't that much competition. You go into 2021, and then there was a lot more competition for altcoins, and then it became more fragmented. But now it is an amplitude, multiple times a billion more things being created, like more tokens coming out every day than there existed between the start of crypto to 2024. Like daily now, we have more tokens being created every single day than the first 12 years of since crypto's been around, from 2012 to 2024. So it's impossible. It's impossible to get those buy and hold things and build a community. And maybe you end up getting really lucky on something. Like Fartcoin, you could have got lucky on that. Anything else that's come out recently, like Pepe, you can't even, like that happened before the pump.fund thing. What is there that's like bearer? You look at these, and there are things that you could get lucky on, but it's so rare. It's so rare. But now if you're buying tokens, you just have to be in and out of them. Sometimes within, like, tokens generally these days last a day or two. They'll last a day or two, and that's it. And then they just go to zero. And the ones that actually make it onto exchanges are just so heavily sold that, like, they're never going to come back. So yeah, that's the thing. That's why people feel that this is different, because there's so many more opportunities to get burnt and so much more to look at. But the actual the amount of money that's flooded into the crypto as a whole is where you would expect it to be within a 4-year cycle. It's just so spread out now. So that's my very long answer to a very simple question. Right? Harry Beaver, want to have a laugh? Go to Interpol's most wanted webpage. Who do you see? I hope I'm not on there. Interpol most wanted. Who's on there? Let's have a look. Who are we looking for? There's a lot of people on that list. Who is it? Just tell me. Richie. I was gonna say, is it Richard Hart? Is that Richie? It wouldn't surprise, like, that. If I just think of like ultimate scammer in crypto, it would be like Richard Hart's the first name that comes to my mind, and then maybe Do Kwon. But he's already been caught. Check NMR JMP buying news, and it retraces most of it in minutes. We're very late. NMR. Am I like this one? No, what NMR? The crypto, this one? I don't know. Yeah. Aura. Is that a token? Is there a single ticker that doesn't exist now? Aura Biosciences. Is this the one you want to look at, or is there a crypto called Aura? This is the thing. You can't keep track anymore. It's impossible to keep track of everything that's coming out now. There's also a crypto called Aura. I have nothing to say on these things. This is the reason why I'm so, like, I used to be able to, like, I would go onto a stream and I'd be like, oh, this token's launched. Oh, this token's launched. And I'd research everything that's launched and everything that looks cool and all of this kind of thing. And that was alpha for me. I that's how I made a lot of my money, was getting in early on plays such as like Casper and Aptos and Tia and these things before they had a real good run, and that's how I did very well. And now I'm like, I just don't know where to look. So many things coming out every day and so many things launching, and I'm like, how can you research them all and actually have an idea of what's good and what's shit? It's so difficult. So it has. And that's another reason why it's become much more a trader's market, because it's all you can rely on now is just the chart. You can't really rely on fundamentals unless you're an insider and unless you have inside information that this thing is going to do really well, because it's just impossible to find alpha out there now. So you have to rely on inside information, and that was never the case before. Like, you could just research tokens yourself and think, okay, this is cool. Like, I could give you another example. You know, like Hype. Okay, you know Hyperliquid. I love it. Like, I love Hyperliquid. But in the next couple of months, I think I've counted 6 or 7 almost identical ideas, almost identical projects, with a token that have vaults that are going to have an airdrop. And that's only the ones that that I know about. And these are coming out in the next few months. There's going to be what ones are they? I need to check my tabs again. The ones that I've just closed recently. There's so many of these things. One's called Lighter, one's called Variational, one's called XYZ, one's called something else, one's called something there's so many of these hyperliquid clones coming out now. And that's gonna, how do you know which one's gonna do well? You just don't, unless you understand what's gonna where the volume and which one's gonna get good volume. It's like clones of everything that exists, everything that does well. Yeah. Are people talking about the flippening yet? We're a long way off of that. I would love to see that. Basically, Ethereum could, it's got to come all the way up here to 0.0. Actually, supply is, depends how the supply is now. We've got more supply than we used to. So if we do come back up to all-time highs, we could get a flippening event somewhere, right? But supply is coming back down again, so we'll see. We will see. Anyway, I think, yeah, and literally nothing has happened today again. I kind of knew it would be a slow day. That's why I just wanted to come out here and just have a little chat. Aura Soul just on a 25,000%. So, hey, if you can catch things like that, amazing. But what are the chances of you catching something like that? Very, very slim. It's a casino. But yeah, I'm sure it'll make its way onto centralized exchanges soon. If it's done a 25,000% pump, then I'm sure it will get there onto exchanges. But yes, I'm going to wrap up this stream. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining. As always, we will be back again very soon. So I'll see you all on the next one. Have a great day. And again, as always, feel free to get in touch. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, if anyone's interested in joining these streams or interested in getting more involved or interested in working on anything, then just shoot me a message and we can chat. So thank you, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.